Hello, my name is Harry Tambuatco, and we're back. And with us, the issue is LTFRB. We have an oncoming summit, which will be interesting. This is called the 2013 Public Land Transportation Solution Summit. How timely, no? Because we're all seem to be screaming about traffic. This is under the theme moving towards a more responsive and responsible transport sector. Now, exactly on that note, I'd like to deviate a little bit. And, well, our guest, we have Attorney Roberto Cabrera, who's the Executive Director of the LTFRB. Mr. Attorney Cabrera, just to deviate, kasi kanina, right before we closed, I asked, how is it that we as a country, as a government, never invested in public transportation, unlike Singapore, Japan, and other countries? Okay, some it's a mix. But I would like to modify the question. Hindi kaya mas maganda kasi private yung mga sasakyan, gaya jeepney, taxi, mga bus. Yung bus companies may mga malalaki, ano? Mas malaki yun, malaki investment yun. Pero minsan mga taxi, maganda. Ano rin yan eh, this is also good entrepreneurship and kumikita yung taong bayan, mga nag-i-invest ng isang tricycle or driver or you know, may income eh. Yeah. Is it better to keep it like that or hindi kaya gobyerno magpatakbo niyan and then you employ people to run it? What do you think is the better case?
Well, if government could afford it, why not? It's better.
Should be. Is it better?
If you'd ask me, I would choose to bid it out.
How do you mean by bid it out?
Well, bidding it out, like for instance, no, for the buses, for a certain route. I mean, you have an overpopulation of buses in a certain route. Let's say EDSA.
Oh, tama
point
yan.
to point. No?
Tama yan.
And you see now, you see buses na, I mean, walang laman eh. Hardly. Yung iba.
Ba't ganun? Bakit ganyan?
It's because it's more feasible for the operator to run their old buses now rather than keep it inside the garage. At least ito, kikita. Kaya,
kumaandar, kumikita siya, miski pa paano.
So now, wala ding restriction. Hataw lang ng hataw yung mga tumatakbong driver. But if you'd ask me, I'd like to bid it out.
But to professional operators who will study it?
Yes. For instance, no? So let's say we have 10 operators now. Bid it out. I mean, bid out with a kind of, like the terms of reference na you will have to provide for safety. You will have to provide for
based on your regulation.
Drive. Yes. You know, sir, in fact, now, here in Makati, there are a number of buses running on CNG or LPG.
Isa pa yan, ano? At least nag-uumpisa na.
Nag-uumpisa na. You would see the Green Frog buses. I saw it on TV, and they came to my office.
What do you mean by Green Frog?
It's a name of a bus. Eh.
Okay,
it's a
pero
corporation.
all green.
Yes. But if you look at it, parang mga bus na sa US eh. Sa Hong Kong.
Matataba na.
Malalaki na. Tapos makikita mo, magaganda na yung pagkagawa eh. Hindi na, you know, we still see buses now that are made of plywood.
Yeah, I know, the old dilapidated ones.
The old dilapidated ones.
You still allow that? No more?
Now, we have implemented the 15-year phasing out. So if...
Mahaba na yung 15 years. You're quite lenient actually. Singapore, it's 7 years.
7 years for taxis. For taxis.
Hindi na pwede gamitin, period.
And you see the taxis are magaganda pa.
Tsaka, you cannot use it as private car after that.
No.
Tapon yan.
It's either you throw it or you sell it to other countries.
Other countries.
Vietnam usually is the
Sa atin, hindi.
market.
20 years old, tumatakbo pa eh.
Yes.
Can you control that? Can you put discipline into that? Or you already put policy into it?
We have ordered the policy of phasing it out. That's one. Now, we've been stricter. The agency is stricter that isang reklamo, nakabangga, we suspend it right away. There was even a time...
I noticed the ones in Baguio even, nakikita ko LTFRB, even though accidents in SLEX, you cancel the whole line of the bus company, not just that one driver or bus.
Sir, there was one time I canceled the whole fleet of 156 buses, and it was suspended for probably almost a month.
Wow, hirap nun.
You know,
bagsak negosyo niya.
Tawag unang tawag sa akin. I even know the owner. But the problem is, it's policy. When we checked it, it appeared that it was colorum. So I could not. Normally, if your bus meets an accident, I normally we normally suspend the franchise of that. So minsan ho, 10 units lang.
Only in that area,
Yes.
supposed to be.
But at that time, hindi ho namin ma-determine dahil Colorum nga. I mean, he was running it under the bus's name. But
Ayun.
hindi ho namin ma-determine ano-ano. So we had no choice but to suspend the whole fleet. So it took a while. So medyo malaki ho yan.
When you go about your policy making and you go about implementation, it must be rather difficult because you've got the consumer on one side. Sabihin nila, ano ba ito? Walang mga bus, kulang. And then there's the other side where you have to be strict with your regulation because these guys are breaking the law, be it for colorum
That's right.
or the safety part.
Opo.
When you said earlier in the first part of the show, it's always the consumer first.
Yes.
You're saying. Yun ang inuuna nyo.
Yes.
And then, safety. Yung negosyo lang after. Because you have to think of the business for them because kung wala silang business model, they won't.
Well, you know, all the buses, all the operators are saying that they...
Kumikita naman.
Kumikita naman sila eh. Bawing-bawi ho sila eh. Bawing-bawi talaga eh. So
Wow.
they know that. So, ang mas ano lang ho namin, yung like going back doon sa discussion natin about cooperation with the LGUs.
Yes.
When we started Oplan Balik Eskwela, we were bombarded with questions regarding tricycles being used as school service vehicles.
I remember that was in the news.
Yes.
How did you resolve that?
The problem, sir, the tricycles are not under LTFRB. It's under now the local government units. So,
Nare-register ba ang tricycle?
sa local government. So,
Kasi meron sila mga letters, nakikita ko, may
Yeah.
chaleco.
So ang nangyari ho nun, what we had to do, the best thing to do at that point was to write the LGUs for cooperation. Na I
correct.
asked personally, wag na ho natin gamitin. Meron hong sumagot na okay, pero meron naman sumagot na hindi, nire-regulate naman namin yung safety. So pag ganun ho, parang wala na ho kaming ano ron di ba? But then again, pag may nahulog na bata ron, sometimes they call us. They blame us.
No, you have this problem in Manila, for example, called the kuligligs. You can't even,
Oh, yeah.
these are mutations of what they call moving vehicles. But to me, in fact, just this morning, my daughter and her friends were talking about it because there was one in front of us. It's a mutation of some kind of engine that somehow moves. Diba? But you can't even register that, correct?
Wala ho eh.
Parang jeepney, you can't
Yes.
register.
So, wala ho eh. Parang walang basis ho yung registration eh. There is none. There is none. Actually, none.
Oh my God, there's tyranny in the streets. Maybe LTFRB needs to be more dictatory, more authoritative. Isn't that what is being required of you guys?
Yes, that's what we're doing now.
You have to be, no?
But the
No
prob-
choice, eh.
Yes, but there has to be a cooperation with the mayor, at the least, di ba?
Patay ka na naman, bata.
Di ba?
Patay ka na naman, bata.
So it's just like the problems of squatting, for instance. So it takes political will to actually take them out and relocate them.
But you see, the local government only sees as far as his territorial plane, di ba? Hanggang
Yes.
doon lang siya.
Yes.
And because he has to protect his voters, his people, his constituents. Kayo, you see the traffic commerce moving north to south.
Yes.
Because you also have to consider commerce. As much as you guys hate the lorries, the big trucks, the container trucks, and you want to disallow them on the street, I remember MMDA Tolentino said na, wag natin paandarin sa araw, paano yung commerce? Di ba? Titirik na ng lahat ng negosyo.
I think it's still restricted now. Yun na nga ho. Di ba?
hindi,
So,
di
but
ba-
economy needs them.
Oh,
Di ba?
ako, may tindahan ako. Dadali mo sa akin mga kagamitan ko. Ano, I will stay up until 3 in the morning to wait for you.
Exactly.
Di, ang laki ng lugi ko. Pahirapan. I mean, we need to move products. And it's only these big lorries that really carry it. The more lorries, look at Hong Kong. Saksakan ng lorry. Pero the distribution, everything works. Commerce works.
Yes.
But sa atin, hindi. I don't expect you to understand or to solve the problem
Well-
of traffic. It's difficult.
No, let's put it this way, sir. The number of jeepneys, totality, is 80,000.
Ay, 80.
80. I would presume that is nationwide. No? However, mas
Okay,
ang
okay.
bulk po niya nasa Manila.
Manila.
You're talking about buses, they're running 13,000, more or less.
Okay.
Ganun ho yun eh. So, ang layo ng disparity.
Malayo nga.
So, yung sinasabi ho nilang hinuli, may hinuli, disiplina ho yun eh.
Correct.
Mali ang baba mo ng pasahero. Sabi,
Siyempre,
isa lang
siyempre.
naman ako eh. But if you're talking about sa university belt na lang, You're talking about 8 jeepneys na pumaradang ganun.
Sabay-sabay.
Wala na makakadaan na kaliwa eh. So
wala
it's
na,
the
wala
same
na.
thing eh. It's the problem, sir.
Okay, let's go. Let's try this. You started with Oplan Balik-Eskwela.
Yes, sir.
How you made the transportation responsible to the kids?
We focused mainly on the school service.
Okay.
Because for so long, school service vehicles are under the LTFRB.
Yung may nakikita natin na designated just, dilaw may
Yeah.
black stripe.
Yeah. Pero wala akong pumansin masyado in the past eh. So now it...
No, I see it everywhere.
Pero now lang yung regulation na binigyan sila ng pansin. Now, what we're doing now is trying to regulate the fees being charged.
Nagwawala nga minsan. Mataas
Meron
daw.
nung naniningil up to 7,000 pesos.
Yeah, I heard
a month.
that. I hear that on radio.
Yes.
Nababatikos yan eh.
Yeah, that's one. But the more important thing is yung regulation ho, yung safety, yung pag-upo ng mga bata. Sir, you wouldn't believe, ang dami yung reklamo ng mga batang namomolestya ng driver.
No kidding.
Yun yung mga, kunyari,
Nambabastos?
minsan ho kasi, dark tints. Hindi naka-regulate,
Hindi.
dark tints.
Tama yun.
Tapos pinauupo sa harap, bawal yun.
Bawal yun.
Minsan huling bata, iuuwi, 6:30.
Bawal yun.
Tapos,
Mamolestya.
mamomolestya na ng driver.
Oh my
In fact, just today, I suspended a franchise of a school service until iharap niya sa amin yung driver. The driver was there. So, fa-filean na ho ng kaso yan. Yung ganun. And we're talking about a 9-year-old kid.
See, we don't hear of that.
Yeah.
Tag-ulan, Oplan Tag-ulan. Ano yun, sa mga flooded areas?
Yes. No, actually, sir, it was, Oplan Tag-Ulan was, well, it was introduced by the DOTC. It was announced by the DOTC for
I
us.
would imagine it's in play now.
Yes, it is ongoing. What we just did was to get the cooperation lang. We made calls to the operators, na just in case we would be. I wouldn't like to have passengers stranded again without anything na hindi sila makauwi. Kung pwede lang, ihahatid lang yon.
Paano mo nababalance yan? Minsan, if you be strict, iipiti mo transportation, then kawawa naman ang consumer, the
Yes.
riding public.
Yes.
But if you're not strict enough, delikado naman sila.
Sir, it's ano
It's playing God, man. Attorney, ang hirap Ang hirap ata.
I talked to a very good friend of mine who's a politician. He's a congressman. And we were discussing it. At the end of our conversation, he said, your job's harder than mine.
Oo, I'm
Because
beginning to appreciate your work. And I'm beginning not to like it.
It's a kind of politics that, it's not strictly politics, but you should know how to deal with them or how to talk to them. You know, you have to be, when you make a decision, sorry, I can't, wala na ako magagawa, decision na yan.
No, but even making that decision is parang you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yes.
Lahat ng galaw mo, iisipin mo yung consequence kasi
Yeah.
may tinatamaan eh.
Meron ho eh. So lahat ho ng pakisama, lahat ng epekto, lahat ng tatamaan. Di ba? May dadating sa inyo. Like what you just said, like the trailer trucks, di ba? Sasabihin lang eh, paano yung di-deliver ko?
Totoo yan.
Di ba? Gabing-gabi
Ako,
na.
Para sa akin, mas importante yun because nadadamay, mas marami pa sa mga groceries. You know, without those trailer trucks,
Yes.
I don't think people realize that those who complain in the road, kasi naiinis yung iba, daming truck. Pero kung wala yung mga yan, wala kang pupuntahan sa mall.
If you'd ask me, pwede naman ho sanang pagbigyan eh. But the problem is, may mga hukay ng DPWH, which
Isa
I
pa
have
rin.
to consider.
Isa pa
So, wag na muna, di ba? Makisama na muna tayo.
Kayo ba binabangga nyo DPWH? Hindi rin pwede, no?
Hindi naman, no eh. No, we don't. We try to cooperate with each other.
But do they coordinate with you also? At least may information campaign sila to
Sure.
advise LTFRB.
Normally, it comes from the MMDA.
Through the MMDA.
Because makukuha na ng MMDA yung balita eh. So, yung MMDA mas open yung
Magko-coordinate
communication.
na sa inyo.
Yes, yes.
What is Oplan Respeto? This is interesting.
Sir, ano ho yan eh? It's already a law that the senior citizens.
Okay.
So minsan kasi hindi ino-honor yung ID eh.
Yung sabihin may 20% din sila pag...
Meron naman ho eh.
meron pag sumakay.
Or yung mga bata, 20% yung mga estudyante.
Oo, correct.
So minsan hindi binibigyan eh.
Loko.
Minsan awareness lang po eh. We would like to focus on awareness. Minsan yung, di ba ho kunyari nasa abroad kayo, nakaupo kayo sa tren, may pumasok na matanda.
Tutuyo ka.
Turo na ng magulang yun. Automatic yun. Tatayo ka na yung offer.
Pero dito, minsan maraming
Dito,
bastos.
tutula ka pa.
Tsaka bastos pa.
Bastos pa. So,
So,
yun yung more on the awareness lang.
Awareness campaign to.
Yes, awareness campaign.
How about the Citizens Charter? What exactly is that? The revision of the Citizens Charter?
Before we came in, sir, nagkaroon ho ng Citizens Charter, which is a requirement by law, para ho malaman ng stakeholders and the public how long it will take to process a paper. The documents in the office. Gaano katagal, saan ang proseso.
So maliwanag ang policy, direktiba, hindi yung antayin mo na lang.
No, hindi ko gano'n. However, medyo, nung pumasok ho kasi kami, now the chairman's a lawyer also, when we were reviewing, sabi ko medyo mahirap sundan. Hindi feasible eh.
Parang on the fly, you know?
Imposible na eh, di ba? So we have to amend it para naman to make it work talaga, para wag umaasa yung tao. So we're doing it now.
Tama yung black and white, open. A careful evaluation of cases, meaning, like you said, you're
Quasi-judicial.
judicial.
What makes my position or my work harder is the fact that all the decisions that come out have to be evaluated by my office.
Nako.
Board member pa ho ako OIC. So I decide
Well, how does that, how do you mean? When you say board member ka ng OIC, how does that complement or disturb?
Sir, there are cases kasi which are heard in bank. We do that
Wow,
twice
para
a week.
pala kayong talagang court din kayo,
Court din.
judicial. Talagang
Judicial din.
quasi-judicial.
Yes, so we approve the franchises, we revoke them. So pag yun ho, may mga desisyon, sa dami ho, dumadaan pa lahat yan sa akin. I sign each and every document.
So, may batas ka sinusundan din dapat.
Yes.
That's why you had to revise it first and foremost.
Yes, yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Improvement of insurance. Ba't hindi naging insurance yung mga utility
Now,
vehicles?
sir, there are existing insurance companies which handle the public utility vehicles. Mas gusto lang ho namin ngayon, first of all, gusto ko lang parang, ang coverage lang yan is 75,000 eh.
Baba nga.
Gusto ko naman at least, kahit kung pwede, gawin natin 100,000. Tapos gusto ko ngayon, isama na yung TPL.
Oh, isama doon, TPL.
Isama na, yung third-party liability. You know, it would protect the passengers more, yung mga victims na kung may tatamaan, at least protect.
Because an accident's an accident. Nobody wants it.
Yes.
Sometimes it will happen.
But I'd like them to be covered and I'd like them to collect faster. Minsan ho kasi pag iba yung insurance company pa, magkahiwalay pa yan. Ang hirap sumingin.
Battle against corruption. Oh my God. How do you handle this? What a topic. Battle against corruption.
Sir, you know, ano ho eh, before I entered,
Ang hirap.
No, before-
Battle against corruption.
before I entered the government service, my father specifically said, yun yung plano mo. Sabi niya, mahirap gawin yan. Sabi
Parang
ko,
nga eh.
but, you know, somebody has to start it. I mean, the president now, ang dami niyang, walang bumabatikos na he's into corruption or something, and it could be done eh. Secretary Abaya, another person. I mean, stricto po eh.
Stricto nga. Stricto.
So yung sa amin, that's why we have to review it further. Yung mas humirap nga ang trabaho. Dahil yung mga nasanay ho siguro doon na paikot-ikot lang, pwede na to, lagay-lagay. They realize now na hindi lahat pwede. So pagdating sa akin, pag-reject. Eh. Walang pakiusapan ho yun eh.
Public and transportation solutions at the summit. This will now entail both sides. It's also consultation, understanding, as well as education.
Sir, I'd like the operators kasi to realize, most of the operators here, sir, may edad na ho yung iba. They come from families na into transport from the beginning. Gusto ko lang ho kasi malaman nila that we are here to work for them also. At the same time, I want them to know that I need their cooperation also.
Both.
Hindi ho pwedeng kayo lang ang masusunod or ako lang. Magbigayan tayo. So what do you want? What's acceptable? What's not? And I want them to see, ayoko ho kasi yung bus, may kita lang nila yung regulations namin sa bus. Yung sa jeeps, ito lang. Yung sa UVs, ito lang. Yung taxis. Gusto ko,
So, all-encompassing, comprehensive.
This is it. Ito po yung programa. And we expect, I would like them to cooperate naman with the DOTC or with the LTFRB Para lang, all the questions you might want to ask, pwede ko sagutin siguro ron.
Do policies continue to change as you evaluate them as you go on? Because
Yes.
situations also change.
It has to be dynamic, sir.
Hindi pwede, no? Hindi pwede constant lang, na ganun lang, ng
Na
ganun.
ganun lang ng ganun. Like what I said, I'm working under the Public Service Act of 1936. So probably, di ba, it would just be that the
But you
policy
could
should be
file.
better.
Surely you could file and use a legal team to help you file to improve the Congressional Act, if not amend it and bring it up to date.
We're
From
doing
your
it now.
office.
Yes.
Ah, you're doing it.
My office now, I have like 2 lawyers working for me. We're trying to amend it. But
Yes.
you know, the problem, sir, even if you get a very good amendment on it, kailangan mo ilabi. So I need someone who's going to actually pass the bill. So we're working on it. We're working on it. So we're relying on friends, the people I went to law school
Yes,
with.
yes.
So kahit papano, baka makatulong.
Pero hindi naman tong bill na, surely this is not a promotion bill for good feel or money. Hindi. These are amendments to upgrade the current situation, and if not given the opportunity in Congress, then Congress will be irresponsible.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm
true.
wrong.
That's true.
Parang
That's
ganun
true.
lumalabas yan because this is neither or, this is good for all.
Yeah. So if you look at EDSA, yeah, if you base nyo sa EDSA, I mean, abroad, EDSA is just a street compared to abroad.
That's correct.
Wala ho eh. In Thailand, they had a problem with traffic. And then 4 years later, I went back to Thailand just to see na nagkaroon na sila ng
May maturity.
elevated na yung mga ano. I mean, they had to cope with what they had to admit that there was something wrong. They have to.
That's part of the solution.
You know, and I understand, like the bus operators, for instance, flying EDSA. I understand they want their money back, their investments back.
Negosyo eh.
Yes, but I need them to be socially responsible also. Diba? How much is it costing the country because of the traffic? I mean, ang
Well,
laki.
according to the Japanese, 2.6 billion, di ba? As of
That's
this
according-
week.
yes, yes.
As of this week lang
And
yun.
I think NEDA agreed with that
Yes,
report.
NEDA
diba?
agreed with that
It's
also.
2.6 billion because of the traffic.
Daily yan, daily.
Daily. Diba? And sometimes if I bring my children to the mall on weekends. Minsan pag inabot pa kayo ng traffic, instead na relaxing, iinit pa ulo mo.
Init
Diba?
pa ulo mo. Tsaka napapagod ka pa.
So doon pa lang eh. Diba? All the more. The economy yung nawawala ho sa atin. It's
When you entered the office in the LTFRB, how did you find it, and how has it changed since you have adapted yourself, your person, your discipline into this office?
First, sir, I realized I was wrong in so many things.
Reality wake up. Reality
well, no.
call.
On the positive side, I always had this feeling that people in government were all dirty. But you know what, sir? It's not. With the office I'm in, it's not. There are far more better people. Mas marami hong committed sa trabaho.
May mga siraulo lang that really
Merong-
bring it down. The
Yes,
reputation.
yun ho ang nababalitaan eh. Pero there
rin
are
yan.
a lot of people there na may mga edad na nga ho yung iba, almost close to 65.
Ouch! Nasasaktan ako. Okay,
Sorry.
go ahead.
No, but actually, there's one person there in the LTFRB that I have to see her and greet her every morning because I never saw her frown. Hindi ho nalulungkot yun. Laging yung kumakaway-kaway na gano'n.
Galing naman.
And I always go to her.
Galing.
Yeah, so it's different. They know now that we mean business, but at the same time, they know also that I hear them. Gusto ko silang pakinggan, gusto ko kayong tulungan. Pero pag medyo nagkakagipitan na, medyo kailangan hong pakinggan nyo rin yung sasabihin ko. So it helps. That's why it's
So you don't want to toot your horn. You're just saying,
yeah.
you don't want to blow your horn and say, hey, I'm really great. I'm doing the job, you know.
Pero ano ho it's very challenging. When I was
I can
invited
imagine.
by Secretary Abaya, he just said, it's a very challenging job.
Mukha nga eh.
So it is, but I really have fun. It's like I used our families in business. I was in law practice, and you get tired. I went to government service, and it's so fun. I really have a
Baliktad.
good time.
Attorney, we're already at the top of the hour again. We're going to have to close the show. What message would you like to give our viewers before we quit? A short 1-minute message.
All right.
This camera.
All right. For the riding public, I just want you to know that the LTFRB is here to serve. I believe you have responsible people in the agency now. And what I just want to encourage you to do for the public is for you to trust us. I will instill discipline among the operators, the stakeholders, but I need you to trust us that we can do our job. It's hard, but with your help, it can be done. I gave my cell phone number on air in a talk show one time, and there was never a text message I received that I did not answer. I am on it. I am on it. I thank you for all the support that we've been getting, and I've just encouraged everyone to just keep on trusting and believing in the agency and the DOTC.
Thank you very much, Attorney.
All right.
See, ladies and gentlemen, when this show starts, every time I start this program, I always say, you are what you are based on what you listen to, be it for TV and radio. You are only as good as what you read, meaning print. And you can only be as good as far as information that's made available for you. To become critical, to become analytical, to become even happy or sad. Now, all this information is being injected. Now, we have certain ideals that it's very hard to get away from because this is what we call public opinion, be it driven by media, true or false. The problem is, there are other issues that we need to know about, and we continue to have to need to know about. I've been very analytical with a lot of issues as they become breaking news. But tonight's show, today's program, this is very interesting to give you a point of view of exactly responsibility, responsive regulation that is required. Because after all, alam niyo po, pag tayo po lahat, wala na tayong sasagutan, kanya-kanya na lang. This is called tyranny. Now, regulation and working to implement regulation obviously is not all that easy. So I hope you have learned to understand the sensitivity, the nature of the job, and the monkey that's always on their back. So we hope you've learned something on this program. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much. My name is Harry Tambuadto. Thank you, Attorney, for being here.
Thank you, sir.
You are what you watch.